This video will equip you with basic construction knowledge. We all dream of owning a home one day, so it's very important that we have the knowledge on how to supervise its construction in order to reduce on costs and quality maintenance. It has been made possible by Habitat for Humanity in Uganda with support from MasterCard Foundation. Other partners include Centenary Bank, Opportunity Bank, and Pride Microfinance. When choosing on where to have your home, take your time to identify a good neighborhood. We all want our families to be safe and happy. Having a home is not just about constructing the building. A home comes with a peace of mind and other simple but important provisions that make a good home. Make provision for a simple compound with some trees. These will help save our environment and also give you a good shade. A small backyard garden will help increase on your food security. And where possible, try and harvest the rainwater and make provision for sanitary facilities.
Buying land is a prerequisite for any homeowner. And buying land is about the biggest single expense you'll ever make. You're better off buying registered land or titled land, whichever case it is. Whether it's a chibanja, you still have to do a few things to make sure that your money hasn't been put to waste. Ownership in collaboration with the local authorities.
Areas to look out for. Avoid wetlands. Wetlands are gazetted areas and no construction activities are allowed to be carried out there. Your home is at a risk of being demolished should you choose to construct it in a wetland. You're also at a risk of floods and disease-carrying vectors. Hilly areas. Be careful with hilly areas. Despite giving you a good view, they could prove very costly because of leveling the steep slopes for foundation works. Road reserves. Please always watch out for road reserves. Always make provision for at least 5 meters if you're on a feeder road and 20 meters if you're on the main road or the highways. Remember, there is no compensation for road reserve encroachers. With the land fully secured, put the vision of your house onto paper with a plan or a sketch. A plan will make it easier for you to supervise your construction. An architect or draftsman can help you put it together and have it approved by a local authority. Depending on your finances, incremental construction is an easy way that enables you to construct a decent and affordable home. There is the vertical incremental construction, where the building is constructed in stages vertically, such as the foundation, the walling, the ring beam, and the roofing. James decided to construct his house in phases using the incremental approach. He set up a simple section just beside the main house, where he lives with his wife and child. Being at the site enables James to supervise his main house construction. It also saves him money he would have otherwise spent on renting. Planting trees around the house will mean that by the time James is through with his house, the trees will also be big enough for him and his family to enjoy the nature.
Bw'oba ozimbyewo ennyumba entono esookerwako n'ojja n'ogibeeramu oseevinga nnyo nti sente zewalibadde ngo walandi road nga bw'ozimba ennyumba ye amakaago gaggwe ezo zonna oziseevinga ne zidda mu process ey'okuzimba ki ennyumba. Kati nze landlord wange nali musasulanga $20 buli mwezi, naye okuva lwe nayingira wano ennyumba yiyo ngizimba naye $20 sikyagasasula. Kati agabiri ke naali kuttenga nga nteeka eri gadda mu nsawo yange.
Then there's the horizontal incremental construction, where a homeowner first constructs a room or two. They move in and then finalize the rest of the house gradually. This helps save on money and also gives you an opportunity to supervise the rest of the construction while on location.
This is the Kabuko household. actually is the first part of it. Here we have what's termed as incremental building. You build a part of the house and then you keep adding. But then as you do that, you're mindful, as you build, you're mindful that you're going to add more rooms. It is not an ad hoc decision. And how have they done that? Notice here that the wall is continuing. But again, we've got, it's toothed here, so that when you next add bricks, they'll key into the walls easily. The foundation has been already laid. As you notice, contrary to what this is, we have these bricks which are lying on their bed on a stretcher bond. We have these on edge, which is typical of a foundation wall. We have the ring beam still jutting out. Of course, you could protect this. This could be a little dangerous. It's a bit high, but it could be dangerous. And you cover it with lean concrete. That's easily removed. But still, this idea shows you where we're going. Look at the roofing. The roofing is what we call the gabled roof. It is so easy to add timber members and just continue the roofing. It would be a lot more complicated had we had what's known as a hipped roof. In Uganda, what they call bugaga bukomye. All right. This way, it's so easy to continue. It is obvious that this household knows where it's going. You can notice a change in step here. This will be the veranda. This is another floor. You can continue this house ad infinitum, depending on how much resources you have at a given time.
Getting the right fundi or builder to construct your house is also very important. The best way is to rely on word of mouth. A good fundi should be able to show you some of his previous work, his team, and tools, and maybe 2 or 3 referees. Before he starts work, have an agreement and payment plan based on installments. You can then sit down with him and draw the construction budget. In case you have decided to use the incremental approach, get the fundi to understand your plan properly so that they can assist you fit within the existing budget. When it comes to construction materials, be very careful about low quality and counterfeit ones. Have a variety of service providers to look at and always compare prices with other suppliers. See who can offer discounts and after-sales service like transportation. There are different ways you can be able to check on the quality of the materials. For instance, burnt clay and mud bricks. You can sample 2 of the burnt bricks by hitting them together. If they disintegrate on impact, then they're not good ones. Good bricks also make a clear ringing sound when you hit 2 against each other. You can also scratch the surface of the brick. If no depression is left on the surface, then the brick is of good quality. Pit sand. This is mainly used in plasterworks and bonding of the bricks. The pit sand should be as clean as possible without any vegetation in it. Pick some sand and place it in your palm. Pour water through your fingers. Good sand will trickle through. Bad quality sand, however, will remain in your fingers, and it's also an indication that there is some presence of clay in the sand. This sand with clay is poor quality sand and should not be used. Lake sand. It's mainly used during casting of concrete floors, beams, columns, and the like. The main factor to look out for here are the particle sizes. Good lake sand should not have large particle sizes. Lake sand with bigger particle sizes should always be sieved before being used for construction works. Proper storage of construction materials is very important to avoid damages. Cement should be stored properly on pallets to protect it from dampness. Any contact with water hardens it, making it unsuitable for use.
Waguza simenti chetaji sibengo jiteke kwa tanda ebere kwa tanda kwa guru kuba wase awa hobo nyogofu bunji chijiretera fono na kamangu mangu te ebe ya kumalange nyezena te jumara kuba eza wansi zinu baga osanga ngazono nes.
Timber needs to be stored in a dry place. If possible, let it lie on pallets as well. Bad storage and wet timber will harp or bend, leading to wastage.
Chetaji samo butiku jangu zifune fresh air mpe hitemu natural kasta obota demo buti ngaze kutangazi nywera wa ngazi vonda mango.
Iron sheets should be laid flat on pallets, away from walkways to prevent people being cut by the edges. Do not rest heavy materials on the iron sheets. Mixing of materials is the process of combining the right quantity of materials for a particular construction work. Measure all materials using a container of the same volume, such as a wheelbarrow, a basin, or a pan, and as per the ratios given on the drawing specifications, or as per the manufacturer's instructions, which are normally printed on the packaging material, for instance on cement bags. This mix is used for concrete with iron bars such as ring beams, latrine slabs, columns, and reinforced foundations. This mix is used for concrete without iron bars such as foundation slabs and floor slabs. The foundation is important because it helps hold the entire weight of the house and directs it into the ground. A weak foundation will crack the walls and compromise the integrity of your house.
For starters, you've identified where your house is going to sit. You have to clear that whole area of all vegetative matter. That is, you clear it, and for about half a foot or a foot, which is about 300 millimeters, you remove all the topsoil. Of course, before that, you'll have ensured that you don't have any big trees next to the house. Why? Because those roots will interfere with the foundation. Typically, the roots are about the breadth of the branches. So that should help you determine whether the tree is too close to the building or not. Then you set the profile boards. The profile boards, that's where you mark the width of the walls as you read from the drawing. That is what's usually done for small projects.
Bricks should be laid with bases in the sideways against the width. They should be well burnt because they're constantly in contact with moisture or water. If you decide to use horizontal incremental approach, the foundation of the construction should be built once as one unit. However, if this is not possible, ensure that 12 mm iron bars are casted in the foundation at the point where the extension will be made. This ensures that the structure, when completed, acts as one unit and prevents any differential settlement. After construction of the foundation wall, the floor is prepared by compacting aggregates to form level. Get a damp-proof membrane with anti-termite treatment laid across the foundation bricks.
Ekisooka ke kaveera kano DPC. DPC netuyamba gye tusoosaawo nga tunateekako mataffaali okuyamba okutayiza amazzi obutava wansi mu musingi okwambuka mu kisenge waggulu. Era bwe tumala okugiteekawo nteekako bed joint y'omusenyu eno twalenjinga amataffaali nga tuva limu ku limu ng'era bw'okiraba naye nga omakinga sure nti ettaffaali joint yaalyo tekubanga ettaffaali likwatidde mu makkati okwewala cracks eziviiramu ennyumba okugwa.
Walls are as equally important as the foundation. They provide security and also help transfer weight off the roof. The load-bearing walls. These are the outer and a few inside walls. They hold roof, and it's better to use the 19-inch brick. The brick lies on its smaller surface. The other walls are what are called the partition walls or the non-loading bearing. These are usually thinner, and their function is to demarcate space. Windows are the ventilating part of the structure and are fixed at a minimum height of 1 meter from the floor slab. Window size is determined by the designer of the house plan. The size of the window determines how much light and fresh air you will have coming in. Windows should have burglar proofing for security reasons. Some windows have ventilations at the top, while vent bricks are put above the ring beam as ventilation in other construction works. The ring beam is very important, and it holds the house together. It should be of appropriate height, at least 2.1 meters from the floor slab. It can also go as high as 2.4 meters from the floor slab. A standard ring beam should have 4 rebars of 12 millimeters each. Ring beam concrete should be strong with enough cement. A proper mix for the concrete with iron bars should be used. Formwork should be watertight. Make sure there is no leakage of air spaces in the cement mix. Pouring water on any work with cement will help it become stronger. It's advised to pour water 3 times a day every day for at least 7 days, starting 1 day after casting. Metal strips or hoop iron to hold down the wall plate should be cast midway the ring beam depth or at the bottom, not in the wall above the ring beam. Remove the side formwork after a minimum of 14 days. The bottom formwork should be left in place for not less than 30 days. This prevents the beam from sagging around the openings due to the above weight. A house without a ring beam is a weak structure that can easily crack. In case a ring beam is not affordable, the homeowner should make provision for lintels. This can be either from concrete or timber. They are put above each opening with sufficient bearing on either side. A roof determines how your house will look like. The most common roof type is the gable roof. It's cheaper, easier, and faster to construct. However, it may not give you enough harvesting water during rainy days compared to other types. The other roof type is the hip roof, which is more expensive and requires more expertise to build. However, it's able to withstand stronger winds and gives you more water during rainy days. The key works. Ceiling finishes should preferably be done before the floor finishes. All water and power installations, mainly conduits and piping works, should be done before plaster works. All door and window frames should also be fixed before you start the plaster works. It's recommended that you hire competent people to handle the utility installations. Plastering the wall is very important because it protects the house from extreme weather conditions and also brings out the beauty of the house. It's important that you use clean sand and that the materials, that is the cement and the sand, are properly mixed. Sprinkle water at least 2 times daily for 7 days, mainly during the hot seasons. Water poured on a floor should flow towards the doors or towards the drainage channels of the showers. It is good to pour water on all new floorworks 1 day after casting and at least 2 times daily for 7 days. After waiting on the plaster works with proper curing, the plaster should be dry before painting starts at least 21 days for internal plaster. Painting works. Previously painted surfaces should be scrapped and any loose old paint removed. Step 1. Prepare all walls well by filling or sealing any cracks, including any spaces where any 2 types of materials meet. For example, wall and window stroke door frames using a good filter, sanding down the surfaces to a smooth finish and removing all dry paint. Step 2. Undercoat should be applied to all surfaces to be painted before the selected color paint is used. Step 3. Choose good WeatherGuard paint for a good exterior. 2 coats of the finishing coat are sufficient, but 3 produce a better paint finish. Ensure that each coat of paint is dry before another coat is painted over it. The best test for dryness is using the back of the hand. Stickiness indicates that the wall is still wet for oil paints, and coating of the hand indicates paint is still wet for water-based paints. Tiling. Choose the color of your tiles properly. Lighter colors bring life to your home. Tile placement and type differs according to the room. Bathroom tiles are different from other room tiles. Request the material supplier or contractor to guide you in differentiating the different types of tiles. Main indicators of poor workmanship. Floor slab cracks. Possible causes may include the use of sand with a lot of clay, lack of curing, and foundation settlement. Hollow sound on the floor. This may be caused by separation of floor finishing from the concrete slab due to poor bonding. Wall cracks. The possible causes include overloading, use of very fine sand, or sand with high clay. Painting. Mold on the paint surface. Chalk-like substances on the paint. Peeling paint. Blisters on the walls. Ring beam. Exposed iron bars as a result of loss of liquid from the concrete. This could also result from formwork that is not tight or with spaces at the joints, or lack of concrete cover during fixing of the iron bars in the formwork. Exposed aggregates due to low fine aggregates during mixing or as above. Sagging of ring beams mainly at openings due to early removal of formwork coupled with loading of the beam before it properly sets. Roofing. Hoop iron holding the roof structure not properly casted within the beam or below the beam. Poor overlaps. Leaking roofs mainly along the ridges.
Thank you for viewing. I hope you've learned a thing or two and been inspired to start on your journey in home ownership. It is possible to have the house of your dreams by following these tips and also supervising your work, overseeing it in collaboration with a professional. I am Moses Chinawe, a registered architect, a member of Uganda Society of Architects. Thank you.